All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video after that huge episode 15 for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to be going through all of the different alpha victims or whisper victims from episode 15, give our thoughts on each character individually and what the ramifications of their deaths might be. Alright, and spoiler warning as per usual, if you guys have not seen the most recent episode of The Walking Dead Season 9 yet, episode 15, the calm before. So quite the absolutely huge episode with the most character deaths we have ever seen in a single episode. And yes, it is pretty dark, it is pretty savage. What I've decided to do is, let's not spend too much of the video looking at each individual head on a pike. It's too brutal, it's too savage. I actually can't even believe they included it in the episode. I mean, I guess they kind of had to for that kind of shock value or to be faithful to the comics, but it was pretty savage, pretty brutal, and to be honest, I have difficulty, even for myself in the videos here with you guys, putting some of those images in here because, especially the close-up ones on the faces, some of them are really brutal. So the 10 characters that Alpha killed that we know of, at least the ones that have the heads on the zombie heads on the pikes, we are to understand that most of them are still ticking in some way, at least the ones that are moving, right? So, oh my God, so savage, so brutal to mark the territory line or border between the Whisperers' land and the Survivors' land. So this is definitely, I would say after looking at it a second time, yeah, it's the most brutal episode or the most brutal ending The Walking Dead has ever done in all their years. I mean, the Negan double kill was pretty savage too, but this was more savage, this was more brutal in my opinion, there's more people involved. And wow, yes, just savage. Okay, so let's go through the 10. So to start things off, the first one that we're shown, the first one there is Ozzy, who, don't worry if you're not familiar with his name, that's no problem. It's because he's the leader of the highwaymen. So he is new to the show. He's the first kind of victim that's shown. Kind of feel bad for the highwaymen. They sort of came across first as villains, but then seemed like they were okay and like they were kind of good guys. And the Whisperers have absolutely annihilated them. I get the sense the Whisperers have pretty much wiped them out. I don't know if there's still some of them out there. Maybe there will be, and maybe that's what we'll see in the finale, is Ezekiel and the others going to meet with possibly other connected members of the Highwaymen. We'll have to see just how big the group is as a whole, if there's more to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're already kind of long gone, because the leader of the Highwaymen that was there to discuss with Carol and Ezekiel and the others, Ozzy, is already dead. Also, the second one is Alek, who is another member of the Highwaymen. So again, if you didn't recognize the first two when you watched the episode through, no problem. They're new characters in the show. They haven't been in the show long. So they're there. Their character deaths or something. But, it's not the same impact as some of these later ones because they haven't been in the show nearly as much. They kind of just got here. So those are the first two. The third one is for DJ, who has been in the show for a little while. He is an Alexandrian. I forget exactly when his first episode was, if it was this year or prior year, but he's kind of one of those characters that's been sort of somewhat of a background character for Alexandria. And so, he's had a few lines throughout the season and he's been there. And so it's something, but again, it's sort of like a C or D character type of death since he hasn't been at the forefront of the show. The next one was Tammy Rose, who I do feel like this was somewhat, I wouldn't say a major character death, but it's a character death. I mean, she's been a heavy concentration all year in Season 9, even before the time skip and after. So our characters have spent a lot of time with her at the Hilltop, with her and Earl. And she was pretty important in the season premiere in that. So this one I'd say is substantial. She's like a season character, but Earl will still be there. I'm sure he will not be happy when he finds out. And them two having been together for so long and everything, an older couple at this point. So that's going to be devastating for him, and I'm sure he's gonna be right ready to make as many swords or axes or whatever you need as possible to face the Whisperers. So that's our first Hilltop one. The next one is also from the Hilltop, which is Rodney. And so he's, we've seen him a little bit this year. He seems like kind of a teenage, kind of a delinquent kind of kid, getting into trouble, starting some shit. But, as we got to see, he wasn't really all that tough. He's still just a teenager. He's still just a kid. He's not going to stand much of a chance against Beta, against the Whisperers and the others. So another one from the Hilltop. Another one from the Hilltop was Addy. So the Hilltop got really somewhat kind of annihilated here. The most deaths of any community was from the Hilltop, which kind of makes sense because the Whisperers were sort of at odds with the Hilltop first, and they approached the Hilltop first, and so that was where Lydia was being held, and so we see more character deaths from there. A little bit kind of sickening in some ways. When I just look at these pictures, I'm like, oh my god. So I won't put all these in this. So some of these are so brutal. But Addy, really feel sorry for this one because again, it's a female and she's younger, teenage years, similar to type Rodney. But you get the sense that she's like a nice girl and everything, and wearing glasses the whole bit. She's not a fearsome fighter or something like this. She's just a civilian. It seems like just a random different younger girl. So it's kind of savage that Alpha does not discriminate. She's not sexist. Alpha will kill anybody. She doesn't care, and she'll do it quickly, which is somewhat. Some of these are pretty brutal. So continuing with the brutal stuff, we have Frankie, who was one of Negan's wives before as a savior, and she was also an Alexandrian after. But don't beat yourself up if you're not familiar, because again, a lot of these were not always at the forefront, and there's a lot of characters in The Walking Dead now. So each community has a good number of them, and they don't always get that many lines each. But she was there, and Negan may have his vengeance. Right? Negan may find out about this, and he may be pretty upset because we don't know if he got if him and Frankie were they spent some special time together. We don't know. So Lucille may be thirsty after finding out about this one. Let's see how Negan responds to that, since he's got nothing else to do but sit in the cell. Unleash the Negan, right? Season 10, right? Gotta set him free, right? Michonne, sick him, right? Let him go, right? Can be like Daryl's dog. Right? Get him, Negan. Just send him on the way. They're somewhere in that direction. Here's Lucille. Go bash heads or whatever you gotta do. Okay, cool. So that's that's the next one. Number 8, this one of the last 3, and I do feel like they purposefully got somewhat more impactful as you went along. Mostly like you start off from the start, it's like not so characters, not such big characters, and then it gets more and more major as you go through. We have Enid. So this one's really sad. This makes sense to me that they would kill Enid off after Carl, having been gone and everything. She had a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship with Alden here, which I did like that they kind of confirmed it before this happened. We got to see some moments from her more in the series, and this is another one where you got to feel bad about this one. She's basically harmless, just like Addy and some of the others here, and I guess Frankie too, and some of the others. Like, even though Frankie was a saver, so you kind of tend to think it's a little bit, But Enid was, she was a good girl with Carl and everything, and she's OG too, right? She's been in the show a long time, so it's kind of sad to see. What was it, season 6 or so when she came in? I forget exactly, but she's been there for a while, and she had that story arc with Carl, so that's really sad to see. And I've seen a lot of comments with people that are really torn up about seeing Enid. But I also understand because she was a supporting character for Carl, I think, in a lot of ways. And now that Carl's gone, it's like, okay, well, let her go. So it's what it is. It was savage to see. It was brutal though, and. Got to feel bad for Alden here, who knows? People are asking who's going to lead the Hilltop now. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Alden. That makes some sense to me. I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know who else it would be for Hilltop. Really don't. So that's, or maybe Daryl if he wants to do it, but he probably won't want to. So that's for Enid. Yeah, number 8. Number 9, here we get the 2 big ones, in my opinion anyway. Well, there's 3 big ones, but with Enid and now Tara, and of course last one coming up. For Tara, I mean, this one was savage. You could say in a lot of ways this is the biggest character death of the 10, even though Henry was kind of like the future of the of the series, as our Carl 2.0, a lot of us thought that he would kind of continue on for many years and be a forefront character for the future of the show. And yet they pulled a double turn again, and they killed off Carl earlier, which nobody expected, and then they killed off Henry now, which, again, nobody would have expected because everybody thought that he would have been there going forward. Tara is one that's been in the show since, the fourth season. So she lasted a really long time, longer than any of us thought she would have. Even surviving past the governor's story arc stuff was something. And, after that, it kind of feels like at times they didn't really know where she belonged or what to do with her. It sort of felt like at times she was part of kind of like Glenn's entourage or Glenn's group, or closer to Rosita and Eugene and some of those type of characters. And then other times with Heath, for example. And, later on, of course, Jesus and becoming the leader of the Hilltop, which is, great for her, right, to have been able to do that as part of the zombie apocalypse for some time. That's really cool. And help build up the Hilltop to what it is at this time. But that's really a brutal one, man. It was really savage to see, and that what impacted me personally the most after all the years she's been in the show, and since I never believed in her ability to survive anyway. And finally, when it started to get to the point where it's like, okay, maybe she will last till season 10 or survive on longer than Carl and these other characters, it's like, you just never think of it. But then, they pull it out kind of when you least expect it. You kind of expected it earlier on for sure each season, and now they actually do it when almost hardly anybody expects it. Although, at least for predictions, I'm glad I stuck to my guns and kept saying that they're going to kill her off eventually, because here they did, and it was pretty savage and pretty brutal, and definitely one that I think will be memorable of this group here. So the last one, Henry, so that, just to say, that makes 5 from the Hilltop. So half of these characters are from the Hilltop, just to put it out there. Last one with Henry. This is a huge one. Henry is a kingdomer, obviously, with Carol and Ezekiel, but he also felt like he was somewhat of a Hilltopper because he spent some time there this year. We got to see that time this year. Of course, he put himself in harm's way to go after Lydia and be kind of the hero in that way. And we know The Walking Dead does not service heroes or humanitarians very well. Just ask Jack Coleman, ask Tyrese, right? Humanitarian. You guys have seen that video? Check it out if you've never seen it. It's kind of funny. A subway incident or something. I don't know. So I feel, I feel for this one with Henry, kind of, it's sad, man, too, because, I really did think that he was going to be our replacement Carl going forward. I really didn't think they were going to do this. Even when, it kind of hit spoilers early, like as early as like the winter time, like December, I think, people were talking about this. I thought they were full of shit. I didn't think that they would actually do this. I never thought they would kill Henry because they killed Carl off earlier, and I felt like that was a huge mistake. And now it feels like they're doing the same damn thing again. Like, you kill off Henry. It's like, dude, you need him there. Like, what are you going to do without him? How are you going to have Lydia storylines and have Lydia involved when Henry's not there? Like, who's going to be Lydia's love interest or something? Like, there's nobody there right now that we know of. So I don't know for future moments what they're going to do when you have this just this space here. It's really crazy because I felt like Henry was, they kind of tricked us. They set it up this year in season 9 where we all sort of thought that Henry was going to be the next guy, like one of the next big characters. Like, we all thought Judith was safe. Of course, Judith is safe probably for the majority of the series. I could never see them killing her off. Same with Daryl. But Henry was another one of those where it was like you kind of felt like he was probably safe for good too, because they couldn't kill him off because they kind of need him for those future storyline moments that Carl had in the comics, that now there's nobody there for that, and then they kill him too. It's like, I guess they're scrapping all those comic books. I guess they really don't care about those, or they're going to give them to someone else, and I have no idea who it is now. It's just it was a twist to kill Carl off before, and now it's a twist to kill Henry off too. No hard feelings to the actor who plays Henry. I think he did a great job and everything, and likewise to Chandler Riggs. I just don't know what is their beef with having like this younger type of teenage, late teenage or mid-teenage male character that you have for these storylines. I don't know, man. They just, I guess they thought it was worth the twist. So how is Carol going to react to this? Well, she's going to want to kill Alpha, no doubt about it. Ezekiel will too, because they basically took him in as a son. And so, man, crazy stuff. The second kid, gets it too. So those are the 10. Let me know what you guys think about all these different character deaths. How will the others react to this? How will they respond? How do you think this is going to affect the series as a whole? Do you think any of these were big-time mistakes that they shouldn't have done? Or do you think this all makes sense and it was impactful enough to where you feel like it did justice to the comic book version if you ever read that version of this of these events of the story? Those are kind of my thoughts on this one, guys. Really crazy stuff. The last three just really got me for sure, with definitely the one for Tara, for me, being the most emotionally impactful. Enid too, and Henry as well. Kind of saddens me, man. I was kind of looking forward to seeing Henry kind of grow up and become like another badass or something. Like he was under Daryl's tutelage for a while and stuff. It's like, oh, that could have been cool. Oh well, it's too late now. He's dead. So we'll see what happens next. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. How are they going to still have a show where they kill off everyone? It's like, oh my god, season 10, but well, there's still, I guess there's still lots of other characters alive. It's just, oh man, every time it's like, oh god, it's why do I even watch this show sometimes? I like this show so much. If you guys like the video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. If you're new, subscribe at the bottom left for lots more Walking Dead videos in the future. That is, if they just don't up and decide to kill the entire cast one day. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.